What's a vertical file? It's a library collection of small publications used to answer questions. On Vertical File, we talk about information and knowledge management in many different fields, covering the practical, the technical, and the philosophical. This is Vertical File by Sutron Global. Welcome to Vertical File. I'm your host, John Connolly. On today's episode, I'm joined by Adam Spacht. Adam is founder of KAS Concepts, the home of No Boring Training, or NBT. NBT exists to train the trainer to design, develop, and deliver interesting and effective training sessions. Adam provides daily tips across social media and offers products aimed at helping new and experienced trainers rid the world of boring training. He's also the learning and development manager at a worldwide manufacturing firm. I really do feel that when people say training, it can conjure up feelings of dread among the employees, right? Like, oh no, there's a training coming. It's mandatory. It's 8 hours. Like, it's going to be terrible. So, like, what are some things that you have, just tidbits or tips for people who are thinking about training or thinking about making changes to the behavior inside their organizations? Things that can keep it fresh and make sure that employees don't have that dread when they think of it.
Oh boy. And you're right. You're exactly right. That's the exact fear people have. There's a number of practical, tactical level tips. One is always start with a good, solid, proper analysis. What's the root cause of whatever the problem that the training, if it's a problem-based training, oh, we're having this issue, we now need a training. Well, what's the root cause issue of that problem? Really dive in. Good training starts with good analysis. Be a detective, ask a million questions, and really understand the situation from the frontline users, the mid-level managers, and those leaders that are asking for the training in the first place. So that's sort of practical tip one. Practical tip two, when you start to put together the training, don't start by building the slide deck. And I scream about that online all the time. But the reason for that is that's like the number one thing that people who don't really understand how to train, that's the very first thing they do. Let me open up PowerPoint, let me open up Canva, and I'm just going to build this cool slide deck. That's the exact wrong thing to do. You want to think about what type of delivery is needed. You want to think about the key need to know points you want to make. You need to define a clear session objective before you get to actually building the training itself. And then the last practical, tactical tip is when it's time to actually deliver that training, the more you can get your participants to figure out the answers for themselves, the more interesting and effective your training will be. And you do that through games, activities, experiential learning, role plays, Socratic delivery. There's, a bunch of different ways to do it, but the more you can get them to talk and you're just sort of nudging them in the right direction to kind of figure it out for themselves, the better. That works fantastically with soft skills. In my day job, I train salespeople, and that's the method I use, and it's wildly effective. But it can work equally well when you're doing procedural skills-based training. Here's our yearly safety training, and you just have a kind of a vanilla step-by-step curriculum, and there's not a lot of wiggle room to it. You can still do things to get participants to figure out the answers for themselves. You get them doing that, and your sessions will be far more interesting and effective.
This has been Vertical File by Sutron Global. If you enjoyed this show, please rate us 5 stars wherever you find your podcasts. Check us out online at www.sutron.com.